Spanish Grand Prix race reaction. Hello guys and welcome back to the Formula Fred Racing channel, and today we're looking at the Spanish Grand Prix. With this usually being an absolutely corkingly boring race, we were not expecting much, and as you guys know from my predictions, I was expecting a one-horse race. Did that happen? Let's find out. Before we get into it, if you can like, subscribe, then you get to laugh at all my predictions videos throughout the rest of the season. Like I say, I was predicting a one-horse race, Max Verstappen to romp away with this. We'll be reviewing my predictions later and seeing if I was actually correct. Was it a one-horse race? Well, let's find out. The race was poised, set up so nicely from the Saturday qualifying. Got Lando Norris on pole, he just pips Max Verstappen, what a great result. We got the two Mercs in 3 and 4, and we got the Ferraris in 5 and 6. Could we be set up for a better race? Then we got Piastri and Perez, who are further back than the cars should be, so expect some overtaking from them. The two Alpines up there as well, doing absolutely great stuff. So that's 5 lights and away we go. Lando Norris gets a poor getaway and then tries to push Max Verstappen onto the grass. But unfortunately, because his getaway wasn't great, he just was never in front, so could not quite put the stranglehold on him. Coming down into corner 1 and out of nowhere, George Russell gets a double booster slipstream and whips all the way around the outside, goes into P1 from P4. Great start for him. Lap 3, despite George setting the fastest lap, somehow Max gets past him. Of course he does, up into P1. No love lost in Ferrari, I'm afraid. And Sainz is trying to go around the outside of Leclerc, just gives him a nice little tap. He has to go on the runoff zone. He does still get through though. Both of them having a bit of a whinge on the radio. Who's in the wrong? Lap 16, George Russell pulls the trigger on the undercut. It's so powerful here that it could be worth over 2 seconds a lap. So he's trying to get in early and stay ahead of Lando. Sainz follows him into the pits, hoping to do the same. Maybe even get the jump on Hamilton. But for God's sake. Merckx messed up the pit stop. Over 5 seconds for George. Will this destroy his race after such a great start? A couple of laps later, Lewis comes in. This just shows you how powerful the undercut is. Even though George's stop was 3 seconds longer than it should have been, he still gets out ahead of Hamilton. And Sainz does as well. This sets Lewis up to overtake Sainz a little bit close to him. But no idea what Sainz is whinging about. He's on the phone every 2 seconds. He needs a penalty, he needs a penalty. There was no penalty in that. For me, that was just good racing. Lap 24, and after what seems like an absolute age, McLaren are finally bringing in Lando Norris. He's been put on a very strange strategy when his race engineer comes over the phone and goes, yep, we're going to lose track position to Verstappen, Russell, Hamilton, Sainz. All of them. Oh no, what's going on? Just hoping that their tyre offset is going to be enough for him to just fly through and get on to Max. Mid-20s laps, not a lot going on. There's a few overtakes, primarily from Piastri, who finally seems like he's driving a McLaren this weekend. And then Norris trying to get back up to his P2 position. This gave us an absolutely amazing battle between Russell and Norris. So going down the pit straight, Lando gets him on DRS, beats him in the first couple of corners, and you're thinking, job done, just like the last few. No, George is like, I'm keeping this position today. What do you think you're doing? And he just fights him back the whole way. And for me, that was close. My toes were curling. I was getting nervous that both of them were going to go out of the race. But no, thankfully, it was just great racing between the two mates. And Lando eventually came out on top. After the final round of pit stops, everyone's gone on to the softs. Apart from that is Russell and Sainz. Both of them, because they tried to trigger that undercut so early, they've had to go on the hards for the last stint. And neither of these boys like these tyres. This gives Hamilton the opportunity to get past Russell and get on the podium. At Ferrari, meanwhile, it was a bit more civilised. Carlos just got out of the way of Charles so that he could get on up the road and try and get Russell for 4th. Lap 59, Norris has closed that 9.5 second gap down to just 4 seconds. Is that going to be enough? Can he get there? I think there's still quite a bit to go. But in the back of the pack, Alex Albon is very confused with his engineers, saying, what on earth is going on? The car had just lazily meandered off into the gravel. He's asking what's wrong, and they're telling him it's all okay. He's not happy with that answer and telling him to get back on the computer, because the car just doesn't do that. Maybe this is what's been happening to Logan. Who knows? And that's it. Lap 66. Norris didn't quite have enough to get Verstappen in the end. He finished 2 seconds behind him, but still another great P2. Max P1. Hamilton getting his first podium since Mexico last year for a very wholesome end. How did my predictions get on? Let's go have a look. Prime performer, Lewis Hamilton. Although he got jumped at the start by George, I mean, who didn't, still had cracking pace all weekend and ended his run of no podiums. Mr. Underwhelmer, I said Fernando Alonso. Nothing really of note for his race. Fell like a stone at the start. Went out in Q2. I think this one's another one for me. Tick. Pole position, I said Max. Nope, Lando just pipped into it. He was P2. Top 3. Third place, I said Lando Norris. I underestimated his pace. Foolish. P2, Lewis Hamilton. Now, I think he drove an absolutely amazing race and this was probably as good as he could get, but just wasn't quite on the pace of the lead 2 today. And then your winner, P1, Max Verstappen. I did predict it, but it certainly wasn't as easy as I thought. So he showed his real class today. Well done. Fastest lap, again, I said Max Verstappen. But Lando pipped him to it, just like pole. He's a one-man wrecking machine for my points this week. Then Fred's far-fetched forecast. I said more than one car was going to have engine failure. What on earth was I talking about? There was none of that. It couldn't have been any more opposite. There was no retirements, no safety car, not even a yellow flag. What was going on? So close, but yet so far. There's only 3 out of 8 there, so I'm hoping to do better next time. And we're in luck. That is next weekend, because this was the start of a triple header. We're on to Austria next weekend, and I hope you guys join me there. See you later. Bye-bye.